Real quick, I want to do winners and losers of the search process. And then I kind of want to talk about the final three candidates and then the expectations moving forward. But
Let's go. Love it.
winners of the you want to do winners or losers first, actually?
Let's do winners.
All right.
Winners, yeah.
Brad, give me your first winner of the search process.
My first winner, I want to say IU, but I'm gonna be a little more creative. I'm gonna say Cannon Carlisle. I think a good little
Whoa.
change of pace, little just a new coach, just a new coach. He's got a fresh start with this new guy, very talented kid. He gets to start fresh again at the same school. He doesn't have to like move to a different location. He doesn't have to like adapt to a new place. He's going to be in the same environment. It's just a different coach, fresh start with this guy, fresh start with the program, basically. Same case for everyone, but I think it's going to benefit Kanan Carlisle a lot more than a lot of other people. And if you heard me talk about IU basketball, you know, I'm a Kanan Carlisle apologist. I'm not going to give up on the guy. I think he's immensely talented. I watched him put up 30 on Arizona last year as a freshman. I believe in the guy. I think he can figure it out. He's got 2 years to do it at Indiana if he wants to stay.
I love it. Pundit, first winner.
No, I'm pissed that Goom stole my idea of giving it to a player, but I'll raise him a level. I was gonna say Miles Rice. That was my number one, right?
Mm,
Miles Rice, when he was good this year, was awesome on both sides of the ball.
yes.
He wasn't good often enough, right? Like he was too often passive, getting lost in the flow of the game. And it all started when he would D up, right? Like when when he would pick up people at half court, like he did Braden in the game at home against Purdue that we won. The kid was a menace, and that got him going offensively always. So DeVries being I mean, not that he's not an offensive minded coach. I wouldn't say he's like a savant, but he's more defensive to some extent. And I think Miles Rice is going to be able to have that unlocked, and it'll force him to really, he's going to be locked in on both sides of the ball, but I think him and Tucker are going to work out well. So yeah, I think Miles Rice is a massive winner in this equation. I hope that's his first call, right? DeVries' first call. It has to be because he's too good of a player to not have coming back, especially when he's already here. You have a leg up, right? Miles Rice doesn't want to go in the portal again unless he's going back to Wazoo. But I'm hoping Miles Rice wants to stay for the show and make a name here. So that's my first winner.
I love it. I think I'm a little surprised you guys both went players. My mind didn't even go there. My first winner, and I think he's a massive winner by far, is Scott Dolson. The guy just executed a 40-day coaching search, and the candidate it leaked out 12 hours before the hire. I'm going to choose to be glass half full and say he just has a really small circle and no one really knew, and not glass half empty and be like, that's because they decided in the last 24 to 48 hours that he was the guy and went after him quickly. Um, but yeah, regardless, I think the perception is that they had their guy for a while and it was very close to the chest, and pretty much everybody was throwing out suggestions, but basically saying that the circle is really small and there's not a lot of information flowing around. And I think that's a huge win for Scott Dolson.
Yeah, that favor for Bubba really paid off for him, I would say. Right.
I'm interested. I'm interested by that because, I don't want to chalk it up as a win for Dolson yet because if we're sitting back here in 3 or 4 years, I mean,
I'm
if
just saying
his circle for sure. I agree with what you're saying.
the perception that they were able to execute a 40-day search with little to no leaks until it was pretty much pen to paper is, I think,
Yeah,
insane.
no doubt. We always say that about the
Mhm.
Pacers front office too, right? Like they're tight-lipped, nothing gets out, and like if there is rumors, like they're fake. So I agree with that. I think that's a good call out.
Yeah, but I think it's more than you can't, like, again, it's like grade the hire. Like, how do you? The guy's hasn't even been to Bloomington yet, as far as we know. Like, you can't. He hasn't done anything yet, so you can't do that for until 3 4 years down the road. But in terms
Okay.
of like how the process was handled,
Like those
100%.
articles that are gonna post in around like April or May. They're gonna grade the hires even before they even like have their rosters assembled.
Bro,
Those articles. I'm gonna give them a B plus. How about
There's
that?
gonna be grade the higher articles on this tomorrow.
I'm
Yeah,
sure
Like
they're
for the
already out. Initial reaction grade.
initial
That's like
reaction, Matt
C
Norlander.
minus. So funny.
second winner, Brad.
Second winner, man. I came up with him on the fly. You know what? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna say Tucker DeVries.
Fair.
Yeah, he was gonna be. This is a great player, like All-American level guy. He can kind of get his All-American campaign going. He's gonna have a lot more eyes on him being at Indiana. This is a guy that put up 22 in the Missouri Valley, was already putting up around 15 early at West Virginia with a lot more ball. I think there's gonna be a lot more scores, but based on what I'm seeing right now, let's say they don't bring in anyone in the portal and they just go with the West Virginia guys and that he can bring in and retain all the IU guys, like he's going to be the best player on that team. So he's going to get most of the shots, he's going to get most of the looks. And, you know, if everything falls into place, you know, he can have a great year and really, you know, I'm not going to put on NBA hype around him, but I'm thinking, you know, he's going to have the makings of what could be a beautiful senior season for Tucker DeVries, which in the mecca of Midwest basketball.
College basketball asterisks. But I'm pissed, Brad, because you kind of took my route once again, and that's all right. My second winner is going to be Darian DeVries, right? Like this is a massive opportunity for him. We, as a fan base, we're ready to get behind someone that wins ball games. I think everyone can agree on that, no matter what side of the fan base they're on. And not to mention, you know, fiscally, obviously, it's massive opportunity. He's going to get paid a lot of money. He's going to have a sick crib down in Bloom. He's going to be living a good life. And if he can make something work here and find some success, I mean, he's going to be set for a while. And, you know, this contract initially is definitely going to pay for anything he needs for the rest of his life. But like, how old is he? 49?
49.
Yeah.
49. So, you know, he's almost the perfect age of I think what they were trying to go for, and I think that did factor into the search. But this is a massive opportunity for this dude. And, you know, that's a win. That's a win for him to get to this by 50, to take over a program that's going to have a war chest in NIL, a program where you're basically a politician in the state of Indiana with how big your stature is. I think, yeah, I mean, he's got to be one of the biggest winners for me, even more than IU, right? Like he's winning. This is a good deal for him. This is a good opportunity. So I think he's my second winner.
Could not agree more. He is my second winner as well. I think for
Let's go.
everything you just laid out, you made the perfect case. This is a guy who was coaching Drake 2 years ago. Now he's going to be stepping on the
Yeah.
sideline of Assembly Hall, 17,000 screaming people there. And again, to the other point you made, like this is, and I wrote this the other day in myself for Indiana basketball. This fan base, more so than like looking to pick fights with each other and just be pissed off because the team is like not good, is dying for somebody to lead them. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be like this rah-rah, like quote unquote Signetti type, like vocal leader. It literally just has to be somebody who understands how to run a basketball team, win, and then like you said, understand that second like politician part. And to go even from West Virginia, where like again, like we said, the governor is fighting for you, but like we don't
That's
have to
because it's
tell
an
anybody.
easy
Like
win. That's because it's an easy pub win for that
yeah,
guy. He
100%.
gets some
No,
clicks.
100%. It's all a PR move, but like there's no question. Indiana's a bigger job than West
I
Virginia.
mean,
The Big Ten
he
is a
leveled up, right? Like he
hundred
leveled
percent,
up,
100%
and he's
in
one of the
every
biggest
way.
winners, man. He
Their
won.
games matter more. Like they're in a bigger conference. The rev share is better. Like his son's on a bigger stage. Like
Yeah,
yeah, huge massive winner.
No
Probably, you're
doubt.
right. Probably the biggest winner of the entire process.
Truly. Glad we're on the same page.
I knew you guys were gonna pick him at some point. I'm surprised he didn't go first. That's why I didn't want to go for him on this
Well,
on the second round.
I think 40 days of nobody knows what the hell is going on in an age where I don't want to. I guess I'll just go with my third winner here. In an age where you have guys like Trilly Donovan who are snooping around every corner.
Boo.
The guy's a win. He just is. He's a winner, and here's why. Because 2 hours or an hour before Pete Thamel had the official like Indiana, blah blah blah, like going with in this direction, he put it out there. He said this is happening. It's done. I have it from multiple sources. I thought we were going to get like a 24-hour, like, are we going to have to sweat and see how credible this guy is type of thing. But it's like, I'm not going to go out there and say like he's 100% right. I'm not a subscriber. I don't pay for any of those services. Like, I don't have a dog in the race. But just for somebody watching from the sidelines to make that call so emphatically and then be justified or proven right like an hour later is in the insider game. That's a big win.
That's fair. That's fair. I'm not a Trilly Donovan guy anymore. Used to be. I swore off the Trilly Donovan a
I go
long,
back and
long
forth.
time ago.
I like the information, but I also at the same time feel like a lot of it's an overstep and feel kind of grimy in taking it sometimes, which is why I don't go out of my way to go find it. But
I'm
if
just
it
not a
pops,
scoops guy,
yeah,
like
I'm with
I'm
you.
it's like, like
Depends on the
Goodman.
scoop, honestly.
Goodman's the same thing. Like it's just not that impressive. Like you harass ADs and coaches and players in circles so much that they finally give you the scoop or you benefit them by giving the scoop. But I will say, impressive scoop by Trilly. I hope he stops listening to certain Indiana media members. Don't bring him up yet. Um, so is that your third or second? I can't
That was my
remember.
third.
Third. You
Uh,
Go
go.
my
ahead, go
my
ahead.
my
Or go
third will
ahead,
be
pundit.
Indiana fans to kind of piggyback off of what we were talking about. I mean, they've heard the noise for the first time in terms of pushback on behavior and expectations. And this is a great chance to reset on all fronts as a fan base. Things were divided to some extent. They're always going to be divided, right? Because we're always going to have the loud part of the fan base that they're screaming at a cloud. Though we won't have them for much longer, and I like to think that this next fan base, has a bit more temperament, right? When dealing with these teams, I know they get paid, and everyone's like, "Well, we pay them. They're professionals." Blah blah blah. Um, get over it. Get over it. Right? They bring in millions of dollars for the school. So you complaining about pennies that you're not even paying, and if you are, you're donating. It's a conscious effort. It's not like people are making you pay anything. And money will always be there because, like I said, we're the second biggest living alumni base in the American system, whatever you want to fucking call it. But I mean, this is a massive chance for IU fan base to really get aligned, ride behind him, and learn maybe from some past mistakes where if things get tough, right, we fucking lift the boys up, lift the coach up. I understand if it gets to a point and it's like, all right, well, this isn't working. Just log off. Easy for me to say, very active myself, but that's because I'm fighting on the front line against these parasites. And there are so many good Indiana fans, young, right? Whether it's you've been an IU fan for 4 years, you just graduated, or you've been a Hoosier for 50. And I know all types of them coming from I'm a third generation Hoosier at this point on both sides of the family. So that's like 10 IU alums before I even got there. And I was out of state too. So I had to love them that much more because people in Arizona didn't know what Indiana was for a good portion of my childhood. But I'm excited, man. I'm excited. I hope these IU fans that were, maybe a bit loud during the Woodson era, a bit loud during the Archie era, a bit loud at the end of the Korean era. I hope that we can kind of change that that vibe, because I do think it makes it a tougher place to sell, whether you're going after coaches or players. And I'm excited to see it. I think that most people will get on board um, over these next few months. But I can't help it but say that there definitely is a possibility that we're like sitting here in 8 months after a tough year one, and people are, oh yeah, I knew this wasn't a hire, blah 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 blah, and it's like, even if that's right, you can't fire them. You're stuck with them for 3 years, right? Minimum. Hopefully, it doesn't get to that point, but I think it's a
No, I
good
mean we
chance.
watched Tobin Anderson lasted about
Yeah,
18 months
that
in
was
Iona, but
insane. That was insane. But you know, I understand that resources should constitute more winning because it gives us a leg up. But there are a lot of factors that factor into winning programs, and as much as people want to use the fan support as a pro, right? Because it is it not the same on the other side where the lack of, or the you know excess of vitriol against coaches and players when we start losing becomes, a negative, just like the excess of celebration becomes a positive. Like, so I know there's a lot more positives than negatives, but I think it's a good op for the boys, for the lassies and lads out there to really get behind the Hoosier program, cheer these kids on, and maybe they can stop talking about how much they hate Mike Woodson now.
I like it. I think it is a big win for the fans. I think part of
Yeah, my third winner was literally going to be me.
Love
but part
that.
of part of why I think the personality of DeVries is so interesting is that like there is so many lightning rods, especially vocal lightning rods in the fan base. And so you have somebody that is almost like a deflector who's not gonna like supercharge any of these conversations and it helps them kind of die out a little bit. But go ahead. So Brad, why is your why is your third winner you?
Because we don't have to, we're not going to be, all this negative energy, like in the same sense where Carlisle gets a fresh start, like what coach was saying, like fan base, we can kind of regroup here, like reset kind of expectations, be like, okay, it's going to be year one. We're always excited for what year two could be. That's really the first year you can really evaluate what's going on. But as long as you're seeing flashes in year one, you're feeling good. I will say, based on the talent that I'm seeing, the underclassmen talent at West Virginia, the underclassmen talent at Indiana, just from that group, there's a lot
Yeah.
to be had here.
And
Even
what
if
comes
we
with
get
that?
zero transfers.
What comes with that, right? Like, his recruiting class is really good at WVU, or it was. So you got to assume that at least one of those guys comes, and they're all
If not
four
all three.
stars.
If not all
Exactly.
three. There are two of them are
Plus
from California, so like they don't really have too
ties
much
either
caring
way.
where they go.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I think it'll come with expectation, right? I don't have a doubt that he's gonna kill it in the portal and bring in his guys that he wants, right? Like, this dude has been doing that without the IU bag. And it doesn't hurt that his son's a lock, right? Like, his
Mm.
Yeah,
son's a literal mortal lock to just be a Hoosier. That's pretty sick, knowing that we just got, probably would be one of the best players in the portal if he entered. We got him for free, not really, but you know what I mean.
We
yeah,
got
I'm
him
sure he'll
I
get
for
something, but yeah,
what is
for
equal
the love of the
to his
game.
dad's contract.
But that territory comes with great responsibility, right? And we're gonna be sitting here in November after a really good portal season and bringing in his guys from WVU and hopefully retaining some of these guys, which I would love to get to next.
Mm,
Um,
I want to talk losers of the search really quickly,
yeah,
but yeah, we will get into
true.
that.
But
yeah,
I think it'll come with great expectations. So,
yeah,
I hope we can temper expectations, because
yeah.
we've learned the last 2 years it's not about what's on paper, even if on paper it's wonderful.